You have been omnipresent on Capitol Hill over the past week, especially. Tell us where impeachment's heading. It certainly looks like Nancy Pelosi is holding the cards very close to her chest.
And she can hold them into 2020. We're in 2 weeks of impeachment purgatory at this point. The House and Senate have both gone home until the new year. And so this idea of delaying the articles is basically going to happen anyway. The House left without selecting their managers for an impeachment trial and without sending them down the hallway to the Senate. So what does this do? It allows Democrats to call the president's bluff on two fronts here. First, the president who said over and over again he wants witnesses. He would send his people to Capitol Hill if it were a more fair trial in the Senate. Democrats are saying, OK, now's your opportunity to prove it. And you also have Democrats saying that they don't believe that the Republicans will really try to call Hunter Biden if they get into some kind of witness negotiation here. Chuck Schumer said last night on Rachel Maddow's program that he thinks even Republicans in the Senate don't want to turn the Senate into a circus in that way. So now you have this face-off here between the impatience of Donald Trump to get this on with, to get his name cleared, and the strategic patience of Mitch McConnell, who said yesterday he's perfectly willing to wait this out. He doesn't want this trial anyway, so he's willing to sit and wait. That's what essentially the dynamic is going to be over the next couple weeks with the House and Senate out. Does Donald Trump's impatience to just say, let's get this thing over with, sure, whoever can come testify will do it, does that win out, or does Mitch McConnell saying, I'm perfectly happy to sit here and sit on my hands until Democrats decide they're ready to move forward?
You know, another complaint, Garrett, was that this is being rushed. This sham is being rushed. OK, you want to slow this down? We'll just wait for a while. What are the pitfalls, though, for both sides on the potential that this waiting goes on weeks and months, that something could break, perhaps in the news on this, or perhaps the president could maybe use this to further kind of make it look like he's a victim?
Well, for the Democrats, I think there are two big risks here. The first is they spent the last month saying it was an urgent priority that the president be impeached. So if you're going to argue that it's urgent and it has to be done now, you would think that you would have to move forward on it now. And the second is this idea that it suggests that the Democratic case in the House was somehow incomplete without whatever witnesses they might be able to get on the Senate floor. So that's the potential risk for Democrats. And I think the idea that it makes it look more nakedly political. Democrats have defended impeachment, saying it's a high constitutional duty. If it looks like they're playing tactical tricks with it, there's a political risk there. For Republicans, the risk is that more could come out. I mean, at the early stage of this inquiry, we were having one new bombshell after another, week after week. There's no reason to think that an intemperate presidential tweet might not reveal more information over the holidays while the president's down at Mar-a-Lago, that more information might come out, or if this thing really gets held up into late January or, God forbid, even February, that some of these court cases that have been slowly grinding along might also reveal new information. So in some ways, there are political risks on both sides the longer this drags out.
Jonathan Lemire, I must say, and I'm sure I have a blind spot here. There's something procedurally that I don't understand, but at least from my vantage point this morning on December the 20th, 2019, I don't see why Democrats should rush anything. John Bolton yesterday said he had a lot to say, a lot to get off his chest.
Why doesn't he say it?
But he's not going to do that until the court orders him to do that. You have other witnesses that may be able to come forward. And every day that you tell me whether this read is correct or not, just based on my knowledge of Donald Trump. Every day that goes by where Donald Trump is impeached but not acquitted, that is a day that drives Donald Trump into a rage. And so the Democrats should wait. They should negotiate. They should negotiate with the Republicans and get the witnesses that both sides agree to and actually have a real Senate trial.
I think there's a sense that there's a limit to how long the Democrats can wait on this. But in terms of the short term, this seems like a pretty masterful play from the Speaker and continuing her streak of winning head games with the president. Donald Trump is desperate for vindication. He wants the Senate trial. He wants to win that trial. He's going to try to spin that as a victory going forward. He wants to be completely exonerated. And now he's being deprived of that. And in fact, according to our reporting and others, he was talking yesterday about, like, wait, to his advisors and lawyers, like, wait, can she do this? How long can this happen? Because she is so desperate for the trial to get started. He wants a sort of a longer, showy trial than certainly Senate Majority Leader McConnell wants. But he wants the outcome. He wants this to be cleared as soon as possible and move forward. So, Garrett, let me go to you in terms of just some of the contours of what this trial could look like. I believe Senator Schumer and Minority Leader Schumer and Majority Leader McConnell briefly met yesterday, but certainly there has been a lot of tense exchanges and speeches delivered from the Senate floor about what should be happening next. Can you give us an update in terms of where talks stand and what should we expect, with the negotiations ahead?
Yeah, the two have mostly been negotiating past each other with floor speeches and interviews to other media outlets. They did meet yesterday off the floor for about 20 minutes, and afterwards they said they were still at an impasse. Essentially, Schumer wants a guarantee up front that these 4 witnesses that Democrats have asked for will be able to be called at some point during the trial. So that's Mulvaney, Pompeo, and Mulvaney, Pompeo, and Mulvaney, Bolton, and 2 of the budget officials who handled this money. McConnell's not budging on that. McConnell wants a structure more like what they saw during the Clinton impeachment, where the only thing that's guaranteed is that the managers will get a chance to present their case, and then the White House will get a chance to present their defense. And then they might open things up for motions, either to dismiss the trial, acquit the president, or if senators want it, to hear more witnesses. They are stuck there. Now, in terms of the politics of it, the next 2 weeks are free. They were never going to start the trial over Christmas. It was never going to start before January 6th, when both the houses are back anyway. So the next 2 weeks have the political room for negotiations if they continue to talk over the holidays. But when both men left the Senate chamber last night for the last time in this year, both were saying there is not an agreement.
All right. Garrett Haake, thank you very, very much. And still ahead on Morning Joe. Joe mentioned that exchange between Joe Biden and former White House press secretary Sarah Sanders. She's no longer working for Donald Trump, but you wouldn't know it from her hurtful rhetoric. You're watching Morning Joe. We'll be right back.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.